Chuck, where Pirates are concerned, right? And
Yeah.
the loss against Stellenbosch FC, you're going to lose games.
That's going to happen.
We're not expecting Orlando Pirates or any team for that matter to go undefeated this entire season. And there's a shock to the system, perhaps, and maybe there's an overreaction to the loss when you've been in such great form for a few months now, right? Beginning in with the MTN8 and then going to the preliminaries of the CAF Champions League, and then the way that the league season has started, and then coming after your first game in the group stages of the CAF Champions League with a win away from home. The only blemish having been the first round loss in the calling knockout against Imakes. And even in that game, Pirates went 3-0 down and they had a opportunity to actually tie it up late. And who knows what would have happened if they did score the equalizer. And you're playing against then Stellies, who I think you ask any South African football fan would agree that alongside Sundowns and Pirates, these are the top three teams in the league. You say they come out of nowhere and in third place. And of course they're in third place, right? Because the league table does not lie. And this is firmly one of the best three teams in the league. What they've been doing, not only last season, but a few seasons now, has not been a fluke. They are that good. And this is the second year running where Steve Barker has led his side to win Escotin. And I believe he's got 4 wins against the 3 of Coach Rivera now in their head-to-head, and the others have ended up in draws. So it's a good coach with a good team who knows what he's doing. And when you look at the performance of the Stellenbosch side against Orlando Pirates in that match over the weekend, I was so impressed with how aggressive these guys are when they go towards the ball. When these guys are faced up with a duel, Chuck, if the ball is there and it's 50-50, it is 70-30 in their favor, because they are going to shoot themselves as though out of a cannon and they're going to go for that ball. And they do play on the edge, and I do think maybe referees need to pay attention to their collisions when they get to other players. But it is controlled to an extent, right? And they know what they're doing. They're coached up to do that. They have the confidence to go for the ball like heat-seeking missiles, and they keep going all the way to the 90th minute. And the other thing within this game that is then a question for me is, what are Pirates going to be like following games away on the continent? Because after the first one, they lost this one. And now, given Stellenbosch as well, they played away on the continent as well. So it was fair game, if you want to put it that way. And the first hurdle, they've not been able to cross that. We'll see what happens when they are coming up in the weekend against Al Ahly in the Champions League. Or we'll see what Orlando Pirates look like when they have to go away again midweek perhaps, or whether it's the weekend, they have to come back home and play a game. Because now they are certainly running the same race with Mamelodi Sundowns, being in the Champions League, having to fulfill the obligations of the fixtures in the Champions League, and then having to come home a few days later and play in the Pay-to-Play Premiership. So I think that might be something that ends up being a determiner, especially if both Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns do get past the group stages and they go into the quarterfinals or the semifinals. There will be even more opportunities to see what both of these teams look like. Mamelodi Sundowns have been in the Champions League for a few years. They've been able to adapt to the rigors of playing on the continent and playing at home. And what we saw, even though the performance was not very fluid from Mamelodi Sundowns because it was wholesale changes once again from Mangoba, his justification maybe is starting to look like wisdom, right?
Playing the long game, yeah.
He's
not quite reaping the benefits of it, but I think it's starting to take.
Because at Pirates, Chuck, Coach Jose went with the same lineup as played away against CR Belouizdad in that game against Stellenbosch, and you wonder, was that the right decision?
The question also is then, if not these guys against Stellies, who? You know,
because hey, Chuck, but siyabuza ukuthi uSaleng ukuphi. Let's not ask what Saleng is. I need to sikhuluma ngedepth because you're asking the question now that if not these guys, who? I would answer there and say Saleng, but we can't ask. We can't say that because we don't know where Saleng is.